It's a topic weighing on almost everyone's minds right now. What will work look like post-pandemic? KPMG conducted a survey with the CEOs of 140 large companies. They were asked about a number of different topics, including their thoughts on getting back to work post-COVID. Joining us with a first look at the survey's findings is Paul Knopp. He is the U.S. chair and CEO at KPMG. And Paul, this is interesting because we've heard a lot of surveys from employees, but these are from 140 CEOs of large companies. And I think what amazed me the most was the idea that only about half of them think that they will be back to work in some form of normal by the end of this year.
Yeah, Becky, I think there's still a lot of uncertainty about the variants and the impact they'll have on the return to work. But there's also a lot of optimism about the vaccines and the monoclonal antibody therapies that are providing some hope that we can get back to work. I think the question is going to be, what does that normal look like going forward? And it's certainly going to involve a lot more flexibility when it comes to our employees returning to the office.
What are you watching right now, Paul? And I'm sorry, I said Knopp, and I know it's Knopp. But what are you watching right now, just in terms of looking at your employees? What are the things that you're trying to figure out? What are you telling people? What are you hearing back from them when you reach out and say what they want?
Yeah, Becky, it continues to be the case that the safety of our employees is paramount. So we have told our employees that no one's required to return to work before July 1st. And we're doing some staged pilot reopenings of some offices, very small numbers of people coming in, just to check protocols around health and safety and to assess how we can reopen later this year. So, we're looking at it. We're working very effectively in these remote environments. But, for the well-being of employees, too, some of our employees do want to return to offices and be together. And we're looking at how we can make that happen.
Hey, Paul, almost 20% of the CEOs surveyed said that they think business has changed forever. Did they give you specifics on how they think it's changed?
I think that the crisis, the pandemic, the social justice crisis has really accelerated how CEOs think about purpose, values, culture. Becky, it's really, they're making meaningful investments in their ESG strategies. They're thinking about how they seamlessly interact with customers in the future. So there's been an acceleration of thought about purpose and about digital experiences. And I believe that CEOs reflect on that. And it's really a fork in the road moment for CEOs, this pandemic and this social justice crisis, where we're all hitting the accelerate button around purpose, values, culture, and ESG to drive customer loyalty and growth, to attract and retain talent, and to meet investor expectations.
One of the big questions a lot of people I've spoken with is just around the logistics of trying to get people back into the office place and making people feel safe about that. You don't have a choice. Often, if you're expected back in the office, you have to be there. There are a lot of things that you can't do, which is to force employees to get a COVID vaccine right now, especially when this is just approved under emergency use authorizations. But there are even real questions about whether you can ask employees if they've gotten the vaccine because of HIPAA laws. What did you hear? There were a huge number of CEOs who said that they are going to ask employees to let them know when they've been vaccinated. But I guess that's a request, not a demand.
Becky, that's correct. About 90% of CEOs stated that they would ask employees if they've been vaccinated. We're going to have to look for and follow all applicable guidelines and regulations when it comes to making that request. But part of the reason for making that request is we do want the workplace to be very safe. And to the extent that employees are willing to share that kind of information with us, we can better measure how we do make that workplace safe going forward in the future and promote well-being of our employees. And that's going to be something that takes shape over time as we determine how those regulations play out.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.